together and have diverse conversations on key issues going on in the country. My name is Saga, and once again, you are welcome to the program. So quickly, before I introduce the guest I have with me in the studio, we'll quickly take a look at this report, which of course will also be the discussion, our very first discussion for today. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. So welcome back. So I have with me in the studio, I have Mr. Victor Anya, who is a public affairs analyst and the publisher of Prime Health News magazine. Thank you so much for being a part of the program today.
Thanks so much for inviting me.
All right, so quickly going straight to the discussion, of course, as we've seen in the report, the NLC president, Ajaero, was arrested on Monday on his way to the UK for a meeting. And, that whole thing has brought in a lot of, discussions. He was eventually released, I think, late Monday, and it was the NLC press had brought it out, I think, Tuesday morning, to let us know that he was released. But there was a whole lot of controversies, around his arrest and, the federal government coming in. But before we go deep into that, what was your reaction when you heard about his arrest? Of course, we also know that previously he was invited to come for an interrogation way back, and all of that went through, and he was back to the normal life. And then on Monday he was arrested, and obviously it wasn't planned and all of that. But again, like I said, let me just get a reaction, and then we go deep into the conversation.
What we are seeing today in Nigeria seems to look to some of us as if we are in a military government, because the certain actions that are being taken are usually common with military government, whereby they don't think through before they take action. This is a very known figure. It's not somebody that is hidden, that if they want to see him at any time, they will always see him. From the research I made, is a lawyer and a human rights activist, Femi Falana, said that they actually wrote to DSS that he will be going for a conference, which they know about. And from the clip you played to on television, himself said that Nigerian Labour Congress said that he has been speaking with DSS, and there was no formal invitation that he should come for interrogation. It was on the day he was going outside to address the Trade Union Congress in UK that they deemed it fit to arrest him, because maybe they are afraid that he was going to reveal certain things that will reveal their shortcomings. If the action they are taking against certain people in the country, if they are taking such action against those people who are terrorizing the country, I think Nigeria will be peaceful today. Because people who are going about their daily bread, about their normal duty, they are the one they easily pick up. We had a story. We had a piece of news some time ago when Buhari was the president of this country, how Saudi Arabia revealed those people who were sponsoring terrorists. Up till now, we have not heard the DSS or any of the security agency arrested those people and put them on trial. Is it the chairman or the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress that is so that we cause mayhem or crisis in the country that they are harassing him every now and then? I don't think so. So it's not painting this country in a good light, because action like this, where people are being picked up every now and then, does not speak well of the country, because we are in democracy, and in democracy we are told that minority will have a say, majority will have their way. Why those who are in the majority are having their way, those who are in the minority should have a say. How do you have a say? It is by public speaking, it's by airing your view. But today now, it seems to me that we are being guarded. We are being prevented from speaking. If you speak, you are picked up, locked up without being taken to court. That is not how democracy is practiced. Democracy gives freedom for people to express themselves. And if you feel offended, the next action you have to take is to go to court to seek redress. It's not just picking up people, locking up them, picking up people, or rather locking them up and trying to intimidate people. There is no government in this world that can intimidate the masses. It's not done. No government is strong. Even ministry, as strong as military they claim to be, they cannot coerce the masses. Abacha was there. He was gallivanting all over the place, thinking that he was so powerful. At the end of the day, we are seeing. So no military, no civilian, no government in this world that can guard the free speech of citizens. It's not there, because especially in democracy, whereby the citizens are the one that gave their mandate by virtue of voting. And when they vote, they did not give their complete power to the government. They only gave a portion, because everybody cannot be in government at the same time. So they ceded a portion of their powers. Okay, go and represent us, because all of us cannot be there at the same time. And the citizen can withdraw that power, or a portion of their power that they have given to those they elected to visit, to represent them, either by way of recalling them, or by way of not voting for them if they are seeking re-election.
Okay. So let's also look at the fact that some accusations, or some things were labeled or tied across to him. We had things like terrorism financing, and so many other things. And even when he was arrested, he had said it himself that part of the questions they were asking, were in line with terrorism, cybercrime, and of course the Briton that is on the watch list right now as we speak. And of course, we know that in Nigeria, corruption, terrorism are one of those issues that we have been fighting and trying to bring an end to. So don't you, and then again, we've had, the federal government come out to defend the arrest that took place. And, one of the things they said was the fact that nobody is above the law. Be it you are a leader of whatever union, nobody is above the law. Don't you think that, this is a step in trying to curb these key issues, like I said earlier, that are eating into the country? I mean, looking at the cases that are surrounding this whole, the NLC leader and the DSS.
Okay. Well, you know that when two people are talking, right there inside of their mind, even though if they are in court, they know themselves, they know who is telling lies. It is you and myself that we don't know the truth. But between Ajaero and the government official, they know that one of them or a group is telling lies. That is the basic truth. If you see two people in court, they have their lawyers defending them. Inside of their mind, they know who is telling lies. They know the truth. So nobody can deceive anybody. So Ajaero now, because he's the one leading protests against bad government and calling for increase in minimum wage, is now the one financing terrorism. Abi? And somebody will want me to believe that, or want ordinary Nigerians to believe that. Okay, those who are be terrorizing, kidnapping Nigerians are demanding for billions. How much action has the DSS and all government officials, the government security agency taken against them? Every day they are kidnapping Nigerians, collecting ransom. After collecting ransom, they kill them. What action have they taken against those people? Since they are very superb in their action, they know who is telling lies and who is telling truth. Andrew, when they are talking about today, we are told that he has been operating his bushshop in that place for the past 7 years. So why have they not arrested him? Somebody who have been operating in a place for 7 years. You couldn't decipher, you couldn't ascertain whether he was behind terrorism. It's because he's using the building where we have Nigeria Labour Congress. That means the person who is leading the organization should be framed or should be branded as person sponsoring terrorism. Who will you tell that to, and we believe you? There are certain things that we don't bring to the public Okay, if they are doing their job diligently, for 7 good years the man has been there. Why was he not arrested? He's running a bookshop there. I learned that he has some schools too in this Nigeria for 7 good years. If they are so good in their duty.
Well, you know, his case is in relation to the Edinburgh governance protesters. You know, there was also
Yeah, so what is wrong about that? Government. Is it a bad thing to protest against government?
No, we're still speaking on the Ajaero issue.
Yes.
And I'm just trying to remind that he is on the watch list or being wanted for financing. So there's an allegation that he also, took part in financing.
He's financing protests. So a protest is now a crime. I have videos on me now that the president of this country was in the forefront of protest. So when he was protesting against the government of Jonathan, when he removed subsidy, was he also terrorizing the country there? Where he said that what we need now is not removal of subsidy, but the corruption should be removed, and that it should make the refineries to work, and that if the refineries are working, nobody will hear about subsidy. Was he also financing or talking about terrorism? Look, there are certain things government officials don't supposed to talk about. All over the world, protest is a potent tool that the citizens use to checkmate the excesses of government. And APC as an opposition, they use it very well against PDP. At that time, Jonathan did not arrest any of them because they protested. Because it is the right of every citizen to protest peacefully against bad government. When government is not taking action in their favor, they protest. It is not insurrection. It is not carrying gun. So when has protest become a crime? That's the question they should ask themselves. They were always in the forefront protesting in Abuja, in Lagos at that time against the removal of subsidy. And President Tinubu at that time, the letter he wrote to Jonathan, as a journalist, I made reference to it when immediately he removed a subsidy, which I titled, "Is subsidy no longer a fraud?" Because at that time they said that subsidy was a fraud. And he told Jonathan in that letter that when you remove subsidy, you will push more Nigerians into poverty. Because that poor woman who is buying fuel to power her grinding machine will no longer be able to afford it. The weather will not be able to afford it. The tailor will not be able to afford it. And more Nigeria will be pushed into poverty. Companies will shut down. Are these things not happening today? These things are happening. Because today now at a liter of fuel is now 1,200. How many poor women that were buying fuel to power their generator, their grinding machine, be able to afford it? Because there is no public power supply. And that is why petrol is our lifeblood in this country. If there is public power supply, what concerns the common woman with the ordinary Nigeria with the buy fuel or buy generator or buy grinding machine? They will only connect to the national, to the public power supply and begin to run their lives. And that is why any person that is carrying with fuel is not carrying out any reform, but carrying out destruction. Because today now, from Akute to Bega, as I was coming, I spent almost 1,200 to 1,500 just from Akute to this place. So going back, I will spend the same amount of money. Somebody will tell me that this is reform. It is not reform.
All right. So still on the labor issue, of course, we know that way back, there were discussions on new minimum wage, which took a very long period of time to come to an agreement, and eventually the agreed amount was 70,000 naira, and that was because of the economic state of things as of then. Of course, we know that begin then and now so much changes has taken place, and especially as regards to the hike in petrol price. And again, we saw that on Thursday, the federal government inaugurated 16-member committee on consequential adjustments in salaries to deliberate on issues arising from provisions of the National Minimum Wage Act 2024. Now the question is, 70,000 naira was what was agreed on then. But looking at now and looking at the changes, like I said earlier, especially the hike in petrol, because we all know that the hike in petrol will, of course, touch every other thing. I mean, every other thing will go high. How do you react to this? Do you, how do you react to this? Let me just get your answer on that first.
It's a bad omen. It's a very bad omen because government just approved 70,000 for workers. Haven't just approved 70,000. At the time they approved 70,000 as minimum wage for workers, the price of petrol there was around 500. Now it is 1,200. So do you think that 1,200 or 70,000 will be enough for the workers? The answer is no. So it's like the government gave with left hand and is taking it away from the citizen with the right hand. That's what government has done. So apparently nothing has been done to alleviate the suffering of the working masses, because whatever the government has approved as a minimum wage of 70,000 has already been wiped away by this current increase, because the cost of transportation has gone up, the cost of feeding has gone up, and before you know it, landlords will increase their house rate. And when you accumulate all these things, you find out that the worker has nothing to take home at the end of the day. And more people will be pushed into poverty, the poverty line, because before, 2 years back, we had 133 million Nigeria that were into multidimensional poverty. That means they have no access to health, they have no access to quality homes, they have no access to a good meal to eat. So when you put all these things together, the government has succeeded in taking away whatever minimum wage it has given to them with the left hand side by removing it with the right hand side. So there is nothing tangible that will come from this new minimum wage. It has been wiped away by the increase in the petroleum price that have just been introduced.
Okay. All right. With that being said, we'll just quickly go on a break and then get to watch this second report. That will, of course, be our second discussion for today. We still have Mr. Victor Anya in the studio with us to still have the discussion. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.